Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to study how to solve linear equations of two variables involving x and y and linear equations of three variables involving x, y, z by matrix method. Okay, up till now students in your earlier standards अगर हमारे पास linear equations in two variables होते थे तो आप लोग ने बहुत सारे methods पढ़े हैं, elimination method, substitution method and so on. Today we are going to use the concept of matrices and determinants to solve linear equations of two variables and linear equations of three variables, and that method is known as matrix method. Okay, so आपको एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन कैसे आएगा, सॉल्व द लीनियर इक्वेशन बाय मैट्रिक्स मेथड. तो दे वुड गिव यू a linear equations involving x and y, or they may give you linear equations involving x, y and z. So let us now understand the procedure to solve linear equations by matrix method. Now suppose let us take an example where linear equations of x and y are involved. Okay, so let us now understand how to represent this equation first in the matrix form. तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे कि यहाँ पे जो coefficients of x and y दिख रहे हैं आपको, so we are going to represent it in a matrix of the order 2 by 2. So here in the first row I am going to get 1 and 2 over here, in the second row I am going to get 2 and 3. Okay, into we take another matrix which is having two variables x and y is equal to right hand side पे जो आपको numbers दिख रहे हैं उसको भी एक matrix में enclose करो जिसका order बनेगा 2 by 1. Now student, let us understand the representation. Here the order of the matrix is 2 by 2, here the order of the matrix is 2 by 1. Okay, so matrix multiplication is satisfied. Okay, so and after multiplication जो resulting matrix आपको मिलेगा उसका order होगा 2 by 1 and right hand side का जो matrix है उसका भी order है 2 by 1. So LHS and RHS both have the same order. Secondly, if you multiply the matrix on the left hand side, what we are going to get here is x plus 2y is equal to 2. देखो एक equation satisfy हो रहा है. Secondly, if you multiply second row in the first column, you are going to get 2x plus 3y equal to 3. So that is how you represent the linear equations in the matrix form. So we can say it is of the form a into x is equal to b, where this first matrix is your a, this is your x and this is your b. Okay, once you have reached over here, what we are going to do is you start with the given equation again and then you say pre-multiplying by a inverse on both the sides. Pre-multiplying means हर एक टर्म के आगे हम लोग मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे a inverse. तो on the left hand side we are going to get a inverse into a into x. Right hand side you get a inverse into b. Now students, what is a inverse into a? It is I. So we get I into x is equal to a inverse into b. Also we know that I into x is same as x. So we get x is equal to a inverse into b. Okay. Now there is a need to find a inverse because we know x, we know b. और ये जो a inverse है हम लोग फाइंड करेंगे by adjoint method. So therefore the formula of a inverse is 1 upon determinant of a into adjoint of a. Now students, imagine that you have found out a inverse. तो a inverse का order क्या होने वाला है? It is going to be a matrix of the order 2 by 2. Now in this equation we put the corresponding matrices. तो x is your x and y. a inverse जो आपने यहाँ पे ढूंढा होगा of the order 2 by 2, and this is your matrix B of the order 2 by 1. Now on the right hand side we are going to perform matrix multiplication. Okay, so the order of A inverse is 2 by 2 and order of B is 2 by 1. So matrix multiplication is possible and the resulting matrix what you are going to get has the order 2 by 1. Okay, so imagine that you have got a matrix of the order 2 by 1. Left hand side पे जो matrix है उसका भी order है 2 by 1 and बीच में क्या है equal to sign. So we can say by equality of matrices x is this element and y is this element. Clear students? So this is a procedure of solving linear equations in two variables by matrix method. Now let us understand how to solve linear equations in three variables by matrix method. तो यहाँ पे आपको जो equations दिए होंगे they would have three variables x, y and z. So let us first understand how to represent them in the matrix form. तो यहाँ पे जो पहला matrix आपका बनेगा it is going to have order 3 by 3. Here it was having the order 2 by 2 क्योंकि दो ही variables है. यहाँ पे 3 variables है तो it is going to have the order 3 by 3. Can you tell me the first row elements of this matrix? It is going to have the coefficients of x, y and z. तो यहाँ पे आएगा 5, -1 and 4. सेकेंड रो में सेकेंड इक्वेशन के कोएफिशिएंट्स लिखने हैं आपको, तो 2, 1 and 1. थर्ड रो में थर्ड इक्वेशन के कोएफिशिएंट्स लिखने हैं आपको, सो 1, -1 and 4. ओके, सो दिस इज योर मैट्रिक्स A इनटू मैट्रिक्स X इज x, y and z. यहाँ पे ओनली इट वाज x and y, हियर वी आर गोइंग टू राइट x, y and z. राइट हैंड साइड पे जो B मैट्रिक्स है वो क्या बनेगा आपका 5, 1 and 2. ओके, मजे की बात यह है कि अगर आप इसका मल्टीप्लिकेशन परफॉर्म करेंगे तो देखो हमको क्या आता है, you get 5x minus y plus 4z equal to 5. We are getting the first equation. Likewise, if you multiply the second row and the first column, you get 2x plus y plus z equal to 1. then third row and the first column you get x minus y plus 4z equal to 2. Understood? So that is how you represent the linear equations in three variables in the matrix. Now you can say it is of the form a into x is equal to b. Now therefore we have got one equation that x is equal to a inverse into b. Okay, once you read this equation, what is the next step? We are going to find a inverse by adjoint method. So a inverse का formula क्या होता है? 1 upon determinant of a into adjoint of a. Okay, now imagine that you have got your matrix A inverse. तो यहाँ पे जो A inverse मिलेगा उसका order होगा 3/3 and matrix B has the order 3/1. Okay, so if you multiply this matrices, the resulting matrix will have the order 3/1. और लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे जो आपका X मैट्रिक्स है उसका भी ऑर्डर है 3/1. So by equality of matrices, we are going to get the corresponding elements of x, y and z. Okay students, the next topic is consistency and inconsistency of equations. लेकिन before moving to this topic, हम लोग क्या करेंगे? I'll explain you the question number 7 to question number 10 of exercise 4.6, which is solving the linear equations involving x and y by matrix method, so that this idea would be clear. Okay, so the question is as follows. Solve the system of linear equations using matrix method in question number 7 to 14. Now students, आज के लेक्चर में हम लोग क्वेश्चन नंबर 10 तक ही देखने वाले हैं, which is involving solving linear equations of only 2 variables. Linear equations of 3 variables हम लोग next लेक्चर में सीखेंगे how to solve. Okay, so let's begin the question number 7. As you observe, we have been given linear equations of 2 variables. तो आपको matrix method use करके ये solve करना है. ओके, सो पहले क्या करेंगे? यू आर गोइंग टू रिप्रेजेंट द अबव इक्वेशन इन द मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म. तो पहला मैट्रिक्स जो बनेगा, इट इज गोइंग टू हैव द कोएफिशिएंट्स ऑफ x एंड y, सो विच इज 5, 2, 7 एंड 3. इसका ऑर्डर है 2/2. देन यू हैव द वेरिएबल मैट्रिक्स विच इज x एंड y इज इक्वल टू राइट हैंड साइड पे जो नंबर सीखेंगे उसका एक मैट्रिक्स बनेगा. तो हियर द ऑर्डर इज 2/2, दिस इज हैविंग ऑर्डर 2/1 एंड दिस इज आल्सो हैविंग ऑर्डर 2/1, which you can say it is of the form a into x is equal to b. So this is your matrix A, this is your matrix X and this is your matrix B. Okay, the next step is finding determinant of A. ये हमको कहाँ पे ज़रूरत पड़ेगा? It will be involved in finding A inverse. Okay, so let us find the determinant of A, which you get 15 minus 14, which is 1, which is not equal to 0. Therefore, you conclude that A inverse exists. फिर हमने जो वो theory step देखा था, you write like this: since A into X is equal to B, then pre-multiplying by A inverse on both the sides, so you get A inverse into A into X is equal to A inverse into B. What is A inverse into A, students? I. So we get I into x is equal to A inverse into B, but I into x भी क्या हो जाता है? X. Therefore you say x is equal to A inverse into B. Now the next step is finding A inverse by adjoint method. The formula रख देंगे A inverse is 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. So determinant of A we have already got 1, and adjoint of A students आपको याद है 2/2 मैट्रिक्स का कैसे फाइंड करते हैं? We interchange the principal diagonal elements. तो यहाँ पे 3 आ जाएगा, यहाँ पे 5 आ जाएगा, and change the sign of the secondary diagonal elements. तो यहाँ this will become -2 and this will become -7. Okay, so this is how you obtain adjoint of A. So once you have got your A inverse, we can now go for putting the values in this equation. तो x is x and y is equal to A inverse का value put करो, B का value put करो. Okay, so if you multiply these two matrices, we are going to get a resulting matrix of the order 2/1, जिसमें कि एलिमेंट होंगे A11 and A21. तो A11 कैसे मिलेगा हमको? फर्स्ट रो फर्स्ट कॉलम, सो वी गेट योर 12 minus 10 as your A11, and A21 second row first column, so minus 28 plus 25, which is -3. Now since there is equal time in between and the order of the matrices is same, so we can say by equality of matrices x is 2 and y is -3. Okay students, so this is your matrix method. Now moving to question number 8. Again two equations are given in 2 variables, तो पहले उसको matrix के फॉर्म में represent कर दो. So in the first matrix we are going to get your 2 minus 1 3 4. समझ में आ रहा है? Then we write the matrix X and then the matrix B. So we have got A, X and B. Now what is the next step? We find determinant of A. Determinant of A हमको आएगा 8 plus 3 which is 11, which is not equal to 0. Therefore you say A inverse exists. Now we write the formula for A inverse, which is 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. Adjoint of A कैसे फाइंड करेंगे? इंटरचेंज द एलिमेंट्स, तो यहाँ पे 4 आ जाएगा, यहाँ पे 2 आ जाएगा, एंड चेंज द साइन, तो ये -1 है तो ये हो जाएगा +1, एंड ये 3 है तो ये हो जाएगा -3. सो वंस यू हैव गॉट योर A inverse, we perform that theory step. Since Ax is equal to B, pre-multiplying by A inverse on both sides, so you reach till this equation x is equal to A inverse into B. x का वैल्यू पुट करो, A inverse का जो वैल्यू मिला है वो पुट करो, एंड मैट्रिक्स B का वैल्यू पुट करो. Again perform matrix multiplication so that you get a resulting matrix of the order 2/1. तो देखो यहाँ पे क्या आएगा? -8 plus 3, and here you get 6 plus 6, Okay, so 1 by 11 जो बार है, it is going to perform scalar multiplication, so you get your minus 5 by 11 and this is going to become 12 by 11. And since there is equal to sign in between, we can equate the corresponding elements by equality of matrices. So x is minus 5 by 11 and y is 12 by 11. Okay students, I hope you are getting the procedure now. So now question number 9 and question number 10, I hope you can solve on your own. यहाँ पे आपके पास solution है. Please pause the video and try this out on your own. Okay students, so I hope you have got the answers for question number 9 and question number 10. Now let's move to the theory topic, consistency and inconsistency of equations. Okay students, now let us understand what is consistency and inconsistency of equations. In simple language, if I explain you, consistent equation means those equations which are solvable, means हम लोग उनके variables के value find कर सकते हैं. Whereas inconsistent equations are those equations which are not solvable. In other words, we cannot find the values of the variables. Okay, so based on the concept of determinants, we can identify whether the equations are solvable or not, whether the equations are consistent or not. So let us see how to find that. Your first step is you are going to calculate determinant of A. Now there are two possibilities, whether you are going to get determinant of A not equal to 0 or you will get determinant of A equal to 0. So what if you get determinant of A not equal to 0? तो हमने पढ़ा है कि if determinant of A is not equal to 0, then your A inverse would exist. Okay, क्योंकि A inverse का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है, 1 अपॉन डिटर्मिनेंट ऑफ A इंटू एडजॉइंट ऑफ A. तो अगर ये नॉन जीरो नंबर आता है तो योर A इनवर्स वुड डेफिनेटली एग्जिस्ट, और अगर A इनवर्स एग्जिस्ट करता है तो तुम इक्वेशंस को सॉल्व कर सकते हो. Okay, so that's why we can say that it is going to have a unique solution. Okay, so if determinant of A is not equal to 0, you can draw out this various conclusion. You can say that the equations are consistent, they have a unique solution, or x, y, z can be calculated, or A inverse exists. Now if we take the example, if you have 2 or 3 lines intersecting, और हम लोग वो दो लाइन के इक्वेशन को सॉल्व करते हैं स्टूडेंट, तो ऑन सॉल्विंग दोज टू लाइन्स व्हाट डू वी गेट, we are getting the point of intersection. Means we are getting those values of x, y and z at which the lines are intersecting. Okay, now on the other side, what if the determinant of A comes out to be 0? Okay, if the determinant of A comes out to be 0, there are two possibilities, that a system of equations will have infinitely many solutions or it will have no solution. तो वो कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे? For that we first need to find adjoint of A into B. Now if we get adjoint of A into B as a zero matrix, okay, अगर वो matrix 0 आता है तो हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे, तो system of equations are consistent, means they are solvable, and they are solvable but they are going to have infinitely many solutions. If we take one example, the lines which coincide, means एक लाइन के ऊपर दूसरा लाइन लाई करता है, so those type of lines is going to have infinitely many solutions. Okay, what if adjoint of A into B is not equal to 0? We are going to say that the system of equations do not have solution, or x, y, z cannot be calculated. An example of such a system of equations is parallel lines. अगर दो लाइन parallel है students, तो वो लोग कभी intersect नहीं करने वाले, so therefore we cannot find their point of contact. In short, we cannot find the values of x, y and z. Therefore such type of equations are inconsistent equations. Okay students, so this theory topic would be helpful in solving क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 to 6, जिसमें आपको सिर्फ आइडेंटिफाई करना है वेदर द सिस्टम ऑफ इक्वेशंस आर कंसिस्टेंट और इनकंसिस्टेंट. वंस अगेन आपको ब्रीफ कर देता हूँ प्रोसीजर. पहले आपको क्या फाइंड करना होगा, डिटर्मिनेंट ऑफ ए. तो दो पॉसिबिलिटीज हो जाएंगे, नॉट इक्वल टू 0 और इक्वल टू 0. नॉट इक्वल टू 0 आया तो कुछ टेंशन नहीं है, यू आर डायरेक्टली गोइंग टू से दैट द सिस्टम ऑफ इक्वेशंस आर कंसिस्टेंट एंड ए इनवर्स एग्जिस्ट. ओके, but what if you get determinant of A as 0? तो we will be finding adjoint of A and then you multiply with the matrix B. उसमें भी दो possibilities है. अगर 0 आता है तो you are going to draw your conclusion that the system of equation is consistent and has many solutions. On the other side, if you are getting adjoint of A into B is not equal to 0, तो हम लोग क्या conclusion लिखेंगे, the system of equations are inconsistent and no solution exists. समझ में आ रहा है students? It's very simple. Let's begin with the first question. देखो क्वेश्चन क्या फॉर्म में है, एग्जामिन द कंसिस्टेंसी ऑफ द सिस्टम ऑफ इक्वेशंस इन क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 to 6. सो वी हैव बीन गिवन लिनियर इक्वेशंस इन 2 वेरिएबल्स. वी हैव जस्ट नाउ स्टडीड हाउ टू रिप्रेजेंट देम इन द मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म. तो आपको मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे तो मैट्रिक्स ए ऐसे मिल जाएगा 1 2 2 3. नाउ वी आर नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट द मैट्रिक्स एक्स एंड द मैट्रिक्स बी, जस्ट टेक द डिटर्मिनेंट ऑफ द मैट्रिक्स ए. तो क्या मिलेगा हमको 3 - 4 विच इज -1. नॉट इक्वल टू 0 आया मीन्स डायरेक्टली बोलेंगे ए इनवर्स एक्सिस्ट and the given system of equations are consistent. Okay, coming to question number 2. So if you represent the above equations, the matrix form यहाँ पे आ जाएगा 2 - 1 1 and 1 into x and y is equal to 5 and 4. So from this you get the matrix A which is 2, minus 1, 1 and 1. तो next step क्या है, उसका determinant calculate करेंगे. So you get 2 plus 1 which comes out to be 3 which is not equal to 0. Therefore your conclusion is A inverse exists and the given system of equations is consistent. Not equal to 0 आ जाता है ना determinant of A, तो कुछ tension नहीं, directly the system of equations are consistent, you can conclude. Okay, coming to the third question. If you represent the above equations in the matrix form, so you get 1, 3, 2, 6 into x and y is equal to 5 and 8. Now you got the matrix A 1, 3, 2, 6, तो उसका determinant find करेंगे. So what do you get is 6 minus 6 which is 0. So what was the next step? We now need to calculate adjoint of A into B. Okay, so अभी next step हमारा क्या है? We'll find adjoint of A into B and then let us see whether it is 0 or not equal to 0. So adjoint of A, how to find? Interchange the principal diagonal elements. तो यहाँ पे आ जाएगा 6, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा 1 and change the sign of these two elements. So you get minus 3 into 2. Multiply this with the matrix B which has the order 2 by 1. इसका order है 2 by 2. Matrix multiplication is possible and the resulting matrix is of the order 2 by 1. So what do we get is 30 minus 24 and minus 10 plus 8. So what you get is 6 and minus 2 which is not equal to 0. 0 means 0 matrix नहीं है ये. तो अगर not equal to 0 आ जाता है तो what is your conclusion? That the given system of equations is inconsistent. समझ में आ रहा है आपको स्टूडेंट्स? ओके, वेरी सिंपल. नाउ वी हैव लीनियर इक्वेशंस इन्वॉल्विंग 3 वेरिएबल्स. तो इसको मैट्रिक्स में फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट कर दो. तो व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू गेट हियर 1 1 1 2 3 2 a 2a into xyz is equal to 1 to 4. So we got a matrix A. So your next step is finding the determinant of A. So we are expanding along the first row. So we get 1 into 6a minus 2a. Change the sign of this element, so you minus 1 into 4a minus 2a and then take this element 1 into 2a minus 3a. So we are getting the determinant of A as A which is not equal to 0. So directly we are going to say the given system of equations is consistent. Coming to the fifth question, again linear equations in 3 variables are given. तो पहले मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट कर दो. तो यहाँ पे फर्स्ट मैट्रिक्स में एलिमेंट्स होंगे 3 minus 1 minus 2. Now students, in the second equation there is no x term involved. Okay, so we can consider that as 0x. तो यहाँ पे क्या आएगा 0 then 2 and then minus 1. Likewise in the third equation हमारे पास z term नहीं है तो उसको 0 गिन सकते हो. So we get 3 minus 5 and 0 into xyz is equal to your B matrix. Now we got the matrix A. Let's take the determinant expanding along the first row. So we get 3 into 0 minus 5. Then change the sign of this element to plus 1 into 0 plus 3 and then minus 2 into 0 minus 6. So if you solve this, you are going to get your answer as 0. Since you got the determinant of A as 0, there is now a need to find adjoint of A into B. तो पहले adjoint of A find कर लेंगे. For finding the adjoint of A, students, I hope you very well know the procedure. तो यहाँ पे देखो cofactors के values मैंने लिखे हुए हैं, तो आप खुद से find कर लो. Okay, so these are the values for the cofactors. Once you get all the cofactors, you are going to get your adjoint of A. Okay students, so once you got adjoint of A, what we are going to find is adjoint of A into B. So adjoint of A matrix लिखो, matrix B, perform the matrix multiplication, you are going to get a matrix of the order 3 by 1. Students, what do we observe is it is not equal to 0. So therefore the given system of equations is inconsistent. Clear students? Coming to the question number 6, again we have linear equations of 3 variables. Represent them in the matrix form. So we get 5 minus 1 4. Second row elements 2 3 5. Third row elements 5 minus 2 6. Then xyz is equal to 5 2 and minus 1. So once again we got matrix A, matrix X, matrix B. Let us now first find determinant of A. Determinant of A expanding along the first row. So we get 5 into 18 plus 10. Then you change the sign of this element to plus 1 into 12 minus 25. Then 4 into minus 4 minus 15. Okay, so if you simplify, you are going to get your answer as 51 which is not equal to 0. Therefore you can say that the given system of equations is consistent. Okay students, so in the next lecture we will be continuing with the remaining part of the exercise 4.6. Till then, take care and goodbye.